Yo, what is up guys, my name is Grizzly, welcome back to another League of Legends video. Today I'm gonna go over a replay which a viewer sent in, and I'm basically gonna go over what I think are the main mistakes, what he could improve on and stuff like that. So, starting with the lane matchup, he's against a Gangplank. This lane is pretty good for Fizz in my opinion. Basically he's quite punishable and you can easily all-in him. Now for this lane there are two alternatives. Either you go the safe option and take Doran Shield, which Fizz did in this case, which it's fine, but you can't really expect to do much before your first back if you go these items, so you have to play very carefully, basically play very safe and wait for basically your first back before you can do much. You could also go Corrupting Potion, which pretty much makes you very vulnerable to getting bullied early, but it has very high potential because around like level 3 to 4 you can get a good all-in with Corrupting Potion and score a kill, and the goal with this matchup is definitely to get ahead early because Gangplank outskills you super hard, so it will be really rough later on if you don't punish him early game. So I'm actually gonna toggle the Fog of War from Fizz perspective here. But overall, yeah, the starting items are fine, but if you want to make sure you punish him earlier, you can go Corrupting Potion start. So let's speed up until the lane starts. Okay, so with the Doran Shield, I would not push the lane early game. I would basically just sit back and last hit. Starting with W is the correct choice, however, but because this is fine if you have Corrupting Potion, so you can like punish him level 2, because if you push you will obviously get level 2 sooner than him. But yeah, this is the issue right here. You extend yourself to getting poked quite a bit, and since Gangplank is probably running Kleptomancy, he will get a lot of free gold. Yeah, he's running Kleptomancy, so that's the issue with this. And you also want to make sure that you push the this second wave really hard so that you don't get frozen on, or you want to make sure that you kinda like don't push it too far so you can push in the third wave. But that's pretty risky because then you have to go and put down a ward, otherwise the enemy jungle can gank you quite easily. And since Fizz runs Ignite and Teleport in top, in my opinion, it's the best, so you'll be quite vulnerable early on. So as you can see here, this is like the worst timing to push in the wave, because it will crash here, and now he has like the perfect lane position. This is really risky for you, so as I said, you will have to put this ward down, yeah, but now you have to shove this as well, and you will take quite a lot of poke for it, so that's the issue with this wave manipulation. But you seem to be last hitting quite fine. You missed that cannon though, that's quite unfortunate, but I won't go into like the smaller details. I'll basically just go over the main mistakes. So this ended up working out fine. You got the wave to crash, but the wave is still so big that you will probably like have to push in the next wave quick as well, because otherwise this lane will be frozen around here again, so you'll have to push this, yeah, because this minion is so low. Now we see Kha'Zix here, so you're not really in danger of getting ganked, so this ended up working like quite well. Okay, so you have to pretty much shove this as well. This wave is super awkward right now because it's not under tower and it's like right in front of his tower, so I really have to fix that. I have to double click here. So as you can see here, he got quite a big bit of a CS lead, basically just because of your main manipulation, level 3. You wanted to make sure that you shoved the second wave really hard so that it didn't get frozen on the third wave, and if you were gonna like slow push it, you needed to do it a bit slower than you did, because you want the wave to be like around the middle to like push in the third wave. But that extends you to a jungle gank, but since you warded, it should be fine, but you need to be either faster or slower on the second wave. But now it's pushing towards you, so you should be able to like safely farm this up once it shoves to you here. He shouldn't let you touch these creeps right now, but I guess you don't know he can punish you here. But this is fine, you get all the last hits. Okay, now you go for a trade, and you're taking a lot of minion damage from this, because all of those casters were attacking you. You reset the aggro with your E, but the problem with running Doran Shield and doing those trades is that you lose a lot of mana, so I would kind of agree with that trade if you had Corrupting Potion, but there were so many caster minions that if Gangplank actually turned on you there, I think you actually die, but... So now he's actually backing, which is super good for you. You should just let this wave, like, you shouldn't like attack the creeps as you're doing here. You should just let the wave push into you and deny as much minions as possible. And depending on your gold, you can also like recall, because you won't lose any creeps by recalling here, because he won't be able to push the lane in time if he doesn't teleport. And if he teleports, you just counter his teleport, and the wave is in a really good position for you. But here you're shoving it, which I don't agree with at all. You could have just like frozen the wave here, and you could have exposed him to the same thing that you kind of exposed yourself to earlier by the lane like freezing in front of the tower. So mainly in this game thus far, it has nothing to do with your mechanics or your last hitting, because you're doing fine in both regards, but it's just the wave manipulation that has fucked you quite a bit, and that's the main issue. So here you want to back, I think, because this wave will crash into the tower. He might freeze it. No, he's actually gonna hard push it, so this is fine. He has teleport still, but yeah, you should back here. And now, I'm not sure if you should teleport here, it depends on how fast he can shove. I don't think you have many barrels left. He has 1 barrel right now, so it's pretty safe to walk up to lane. And the items you purchased are absolutely correct. I would always rush Sheen if I'm going Doran's Shield first item, because you need extra mana to trade efficiently. So I have nothing against like the build or like your mechanics or your last hitting, it's just wave manipulation thus far. Okay, so here I would pretty much fast shove this next wave, I think, to force his teleport, but I'm not sure that you can actually do it in time when I think about it, so I guess it's fine to like do this, but then you want to make sure that you build up a huge wave here. Okay, so you're gonna teleport bot here. I have to watch this first. Okay, so your bot is getting all in on here. Like the problem with teleporting in this situation, as you can see, your creeps, you have a lot more creeps here, right? So your lane will like slow push towards him, which is fine if you stay with the wave and you kind of like bully him under tower, or you like collapse the entire wave onto his tower and then you go invade his jungle or stuff like that, or you can go for a teleport after the wave has clashed into his tower, because that gives you a lot of pressure, because Gangplank can't just leave the lane then, because if there's like 12 creeps under his tower, there's not much he can do, he has to farm them up. But the thing you do here is you push it like this, right? And then you teleport, so this will just slow push into his tower now, or maybe it won't even hit, maybe it gets the perfect freeze. But I see that GP is here, right? But GP is like super weak. Okay, you actually cancel it. Okay, that's super good. Okay, you shouldn't have teleported in the first place even, but cancelling it was the right call for sure. Because this wave was just horrendous. You can never like commit to a TP with this wave. So now I just go to proxy the wave as soon as I can. The tower damage doesn't mean that much right now. You won't really push it down. Yeah, I would just hit the creeps here. It's like kind of useless to hit the tower. But it's fine. I think you will get all of it anyways. So Gangplank got 2 assists. It's not that bad for us. You're really ahead in CS now, so you get a lot of creeps off of this. Okay, this is all good. The enemy team gets the Drake. I would shove the next wave as well, because Gangplank can't threaten you, and you know they just did Drake, so you should really push this wave as well. There's no reason to back. Yeah, that was a huge mistake. You should have shoved this wave as well. You would have gotten like a lot more gold and efficiency overall. Because Gangplank, I'll see when he shows up actually. We can like toggle the vision. Yeah, as you can see, you could have easily shoved that wave. It's like, that's a pretty huge mistake, because it looks like a pretty small thing, but like denying, he would get denied all of these 6 creeps by the way if you just like shoved it immediately. So a whole wave is like enormous. That's like in high reload, like an entire wave is like game breaking. Like he can probably, even if you like don't have perfect wave pushing and wave timing, you can probably like still climb, but it's like a minor thing to fix and it helps you a lot. So okay, so now you have ult and you have ignite. So what I would do here is I would just like look for an all in here, because you have to kill him sooner or later, right? Because his skill is so much better. Like you have a huge CS lead, so that's good, but here I would just not approach the lane forward. I would walk into this bush here and I would stand on the edge here and I would look for an ultimate, because if you land the ult on him here, he doesn't have flash. I don't know if you're aware of that in the game, but even if you're not aware of it, you still minimum get his flash if you land the ult on him, and if he doesn't have flash you get the kill. So just walk up like this into the bush and cheese with your ultimate. That's like all you do as Fizz into matchups that you can kill. You have to like stand in a bush and you have to try to land the ultimate, because the hitbox is very big. So if they're not like, if they don't have vision in the bush, it's almost like impossible to react. Like you can land ultimates from bushes like all the way up to challenger basically. So don't like think that okay, if he has good reaction he can just sidestep it. That's not how it works. Maybe if he has like a dash, then he can for sure, But in those situations, you just wait for them to use it, or you just hope that it lands anyway. Because if you don't land the like long range ultimate as Fizz when you're like in this position, you can't really kill him because you need extra damage from the ultimate, and he won't like just stand here while you walk up to melee. So, or maybe he will. So we'll see. But overall, I would walk into this bush and I would try to land ult here. He wards this bush, but if you stood right here now, he would not be back here. He would be standing here, and he would hit the minions, and then you can just land the ultimate here. So here the wave is pushing to you. Now what you have to do here, because you can't like all in him back here, because you would take way too much damage from the caster minions. If you stood here, it's a different story. So now you have to just wait for him to push this in, or for him to waste all of his barrels, and then you have to all in him. So he's standing really far back here. This is really good. You can just pretty much zone him if he's this afraid to walk up. Okay, you denied the siege creep. That's good. I would not push this wave though. I would like let it push to me so you have more space to work with. Basically, you want the lane to be as long as possible for Gangplank so he has to walk up, so you have longer to chase him when you go for the all-in. But like here, when he walks up for this creep here, if you ult him here, he's dead 100%. Like if you land this ult here, he's super dead. Like, there's no way he can survive this. And this is like an opportunity that should not ever arise, because he should never walk up this far. And I know he has barrels here, so he can maybe kite you out with this ultimate, but at least you get such a good trade that he has to like recall, and you can shove this wave under the tower, maybe get some tower damage, or you could just like go for some wards or get a really good reset off. So overall, just always go for this ult here. Because he's locked into animation here with Q as well, so there's like no way that he can dodge that. So it's those kind of opportunities you have to look for. Okay, now it's quite risky to push up actually. I'm gonna toggle the vision for us again. As you can see here, we don't really have any vision topside, so it's quite risky to be this far up. But since Gangplank is so squishy right now, we actually built like boots of swiftness, which is really bad in this matchup for him. He needs the extra tankiness for sure from either ninjas or mercs. But yeah, you basically like, you can't do this when you push the wave a little and then the wave hangs out here, because it leaves you in a very dangerous position and you don't really accomplish anything, because he's too close to the tower for you to kill him, right? And you don't really deny him CS either. So it doesn't really make any sense. Either you pushed into the tower and reset the lane so it pushes out to the middle again. That's one way to do it, or you just don't push at all and you just let him push to you, and you can probably all in him even if he has a small minion advantage, because you're really strong right now and he's not. Like when he goes for this melee attack here, he should never be able to get away with that. You should, even if you don't want to ultimate him here, because you probably can't kill him here because he's pretty close to the tower, you should still like Q onto him, get the auto, get another auto, he's gonna like put up a barrel, then you can E to dodge his Q or his barrel or whatever, and then you hold the E for as long as possible, you land with the slow, because the E doesn't slow if you release it immediately, then you get a lot of damage from that, and then you chunk your W auto into him, and then he's actually going to be like around here, maybe you take one tower shot, but I guarantee you, if you did that combo that I just explained, which consists of like a Q, 2 autos, your E, and then a W, he will be at like 200 HP. Like, Fizz does so much damage at this point, and then you can probably just ignite ulti instead, so you should never like let him take these CS here. You have to like be able to punish opponents with Fizz, because otherwise there's really no point playing him against like Gangplank, because you'll get so outscaled that you can't really do much. So he's gonna all in you here. As I said, the wave's in a super dangerous position, so Kha'Zix just ganks you here. But you see what I mean, like even when this was really suboptimal, you did not get the long range ultimate at all, and you waited like really long to go in, and you actually waited for him to go in. You didn't actually like do the incentive yourself. Like if you ultimated, if you like queued onto him here, if you use your ult here, he was already dead before Kha'Zix even arrived. But now you wait like, I think it's like 5 seconds or something. Yeah, and now Kha'Zix shows up, so. And you wait a long time to even turn on him as well. Like that's another issue. Like even if this happens, because let's say you're not sure if you can kill him, you wanna play the lane safe or whatever, which is not fine in this lane, but against another matchup, let's say, it's still fine. Like you have to commit when they go on you this hard. Like here you should Q on him. Like there's no reason to just like stand here. You see, you start running away now. Like why? Like you won't get out anyways, so it's better to turn earlier. So you turned really late there, and the wave was in a pretty bad position. So like overall, from what I've seen during the lane phase, the issue is not your mechanics or like your last hitting, because that seems to be pretty good. Like 80 CS at 10 minutes, that's really respectable. That's not bad at all. it's just like the way you manipulate minions, and also like you don't really see these opportunities to take trades. And with champions such as like Fizz, Irelia, or Jax, or bruisers in general, you really want to make sure that you take like the efficient trades, because otherwise there's really no reason to play them. Like with what I've seen this game with like your mechanics and your last hitting, you would probably climb by just playing like either tanks or even champions such as like Gangplank, because if you can just farm with those champions and then go into team fights with the way you're like controlling your character and stuff, you'll probably do really well. It's just that you don't punish the 1v1 situations, and that's really what you need to do with these sorts of champions such as Fizz. So, but like overall now the game's in a super hard position. Like you're ahead a bit in CS, but you could have been a lot more ahead if you just took those trades. And it has nothing to do with like your last hitting mechanics. It's just that if you took the trades, Gangplank would be denied a whole lot, and you could have more space to farm the lane safely. But now you're not really that ahead, and you're against the Gangplank, so it's really tough right now. So this TP seems fine. Like the bot lane is pushing up here. And you're collapsing on them, that's fine, because you really can't do any much top lane anyway. So, okay, so he flashes out. Can you chase this? You get the ult on him. You actually dive for this, huh? This dive is super awkward. I mean, it's just really hard to like try to yank a Lulu. Like this was pretty horrendous. It's not that badly played. Like the decision in itself is just that not that good though. I mean, if the execution of your teammates were a bit better there, probably would have worked out. Like Leona should have taken the tower from the start there, and she did not. But overall, you can't really trust your teammates in these situations where it's pretty close. You want to make sure that you go for TPs that are like 100%. So now the game is super rough here. You're basically getting outscaled, and your team is losing, and you're losing as well. But you were actually like playing the lane fine besides the wave manipulation. That's like the main issue here. And the thing with this is that if you don't get a lead in these matchups with Fizz, there's not much you can do. Like in this game, the only possible win condition for you is to just commit to split pushing and hope that you get to 3 items and that Gangplank builds like very squishy. Like if he builds Trinity Force into like Youmu's and Infinity Edge, you can pretty much kill him, I think, on 3 items and Inatabis, but we're talking like 30 minutes into the game here, and your team needs to survive until then, because you will never win team fights in this situation. Like their team comp is better in team fights, and Gangplank does a lot more than you in those situations. So like the game, it can be winnable right now, but you should never put yourself in this situation. You should always look to engage in the 1v1 in situations where you have the advantage. That's like the main thing to do with Fizz. And once you snowball with the champion, that's when you can go into fights and shit on them. That's like the main thing. And obviously, if you're like farming really well, like if you would have like 120 CS right now, that would equal like you having 3 quick kills, and then you could probably also do roams and stuff like that. But since Gangplank is also so fed, it's super hard right now. So you get a lot of tower damage. This is actually like really good. You should have done this like a lot earlier though. You should have never TP down here. You would have gotten this tower already, and then you could have either roamed after you got the tower and you would have more gold, or you could just continue pushing in and maybe like try to threaten Herald with Shyvana because she does it really fast. So now it's really risky to push more here, so you kind of have to back here. The correct decision now is either to back and buy and hope the Gangplank pushes more, and then you can look for an all-in, because this Drake is already dead, like there's no way. And if you can trust Shyvana, and Shyvana is like a reasonable player, you should just spam ping Herald here, because you know the enemy team is on Drake, we have vision of it. And then you just take Herald, and then you can probably break the mid-tier 1 with Herald, because it's quite low. So that's like the correct macro decision to make right now, but since it's solo queue, and especially at this elo, you can't really rely on your teammates to do the correct macro decision. The other thing you can do is just back here, buy for your gold. I think you're pretty close to Trinity Force, or you should be at least. And then if Gangplank continues to push, if you get a max range ultimate on him, you can still all-in him at this stage. But you really need to get the max range ult here, because you have Ignite up as well. So let's see what you do here. You're gonna go mid. I mean, if the enemy team doesn't respond and you get the tower here, it looks like a good decision. Oh, you're gonna go for the fight. Now, this is not worth it all, in my opinion. Like, even if this fight ends up being good for you, like, Gangplank will get so much CS and pressure on the top tier 2 potentially, and he can ultimate as well into the fight and contribute like a bit at least. And if they disengage here and manage to get out, you've wasted so much tempo and time. And since you're already behind, you can't really afford those mistakes. You have to play, like when you're this behind, you have to like play very solidly and have a game plan set in stone so that so the game doesn't go completely out of hand. That's like the main thing here, because you could go for these like kind of, I would argue, ape plays and they could work out, but it's like such a low chance. So let's see if you contribute anything here. So your team is already winning this fight, it seems. So you get one extra kill, but Tristana had a W, so she probably would have gotten that anyways. And Gangplank is actually quite retarded, so he didn't shove in top. Like, this wave is actually super good for you now. I don't know what he's doing, honestly. Okay, so it ended up working out fine, but you see the point. Like, if Gangplank had a brain, you would have get denied this entire wave to the tower here. He would have gotten a lot of farm. And you didn't even help here that much, and even if you did, Gangplank could have ultimated, used his ulti, I mean, and it would have, like, equalized the fight a bit. So overall, it's better to either take Herald and get the tier 1 mid for free, basically, because if you just put the Herald here, like, even if they group 5 people, they won't be able to kill it in time before it kills the tower, so it is free. Or you could have just backed and looked for an all-in here. Now, that decision wouldn't have worked out in this case, I mean, because Gangplank actually roamed down mid, but that was a dumb decision by him, and we have to, like, try to play from the perspective that he's gonna make, like, the correct play, like, most of the time at least. So here you go for the mid wave, that's fine. You really need to reset soon, because I know you have Trinity here, and it's quite bad that you have not backed yet, because it's a huge spike for Fizz. So, but now we have to farm up this wave as well, because otherwise you will get denied. Well, actually, didn't push in the entire wave, you could have backed, but you didn't know that, so this decision is fine. But after this, you definitely have to back, like, there's no way around it. Okay, so they're kind of fighting at Herald. You're pushing this in. Okay, now you have to back, yeah. So now you buy Trinity, right? And then you build into Titanic. Oh, you go Bramble Vest. Now, I don't agree with this item here, because Bramble Vest is very situational, and it's pretty much only usable against champions that heal a lot. And I know that Gangplank has a W heal, but it's not that big. It's not, like, worth building Bramble Vest for it. I would much rather see you build Ninjatabis here, or go into Ruby Crystal, Longsword, and Boots, like regular Boots of Speed, to go sooner into Titanic. I really do not like the Bramble Vest here. I don't think it does much. Because they're pushing mid here. Your wave here is not that good. It will push towards the enemy team, I think. So here you go onto Gangplank. Let's see if you can do much damage to him. Okay, you have to E the barrel there, otherwise there's no way you can win that. I don't think you would have won anyways, because he's so fed now. But as you can see here, this wave is like super bad for you. You just got denied like 2 waves, and if Malphite doesn't come up like this, like I don't know what, and kills the wave, you would have gotten denied like the next wave and the next wave as well, which is 3 kills, or not 3 kills, but it's like 2 kills in golden XP at least. So you needed to, like, it was fine to back for the Trinity Force here, but you needed to run back top immediately and try to shove it all the way, because otherwise you would just get denied so much. And obviously that can be quite risky, but at this stage you just have to prioritize farm, because you're quite behind. Now, if you're super ahead and you can, like, rotate around the map and get kills and get towers, you should do that, but since you're behind now and they have the tempo advantage, just try to farm up so you get into a position where you can actually dictate some parts of the game at least. Here you just need to shove this as fast as you can, because you need to get pressure on the map here. There's no, like, reason to freeze here. You have TP, so that's quite fine, but I would just push this as fast as I can here. I would just E the wave, Q through the wave, everything I can to just push the wave as fast as possible. So you should actually push here. This fight is like really random, so you should just commit to pushing here. Which you are, which is good. I really like this. No, you should really continue here, because they are 3 bots, right? And Gangplank just died, and we can, like, toggle the vision here so I can show you. Kha'Zix is on his way, but there's no way that Kha'Zix can just straight up kill you in the minion wave. If he tries to go for that, you can kill him 100%, because you have a level advantage on him and you have a lot of armor, so you're actually gonna stay here. Yeah, that's good. Okay, you channeled the recall, so I got a little bit worried. So now just push this in, push these 3 minions as well. There's nothing he can do to you. I don't know why you're waiting here. Maybe you're trying to go for ultimate here, but I don't think you can kill him, even if you land it. Okay, you should really go for it now, you waste so much time. Okay, you actually got it on him. Can you kill him here? Oh, he actually stood an auto-view. That's really good then for you. Okay, if you just ran out, there's nothing you can do, and he had flash up as well, but since he tried to fight you, you actually got the kill, so it ended up working out, but it shouldn't, so that's something to keep in mind. But I mean, I'm not entirely against the idea to go for something like really risky there, because your team is losing and you're really behind, but like that specifically, it should never work, so now you're going mid, which is completely fine. We have vision on Gangplank here though. Oh, we actually don't. I forgot to toggle the vision back again. Yeah, we actually did not have vision on that, so this is really rough for you right now. I'm not against being in mid right now. Your Akali seems to be punishing bot quite hard, and your team is doing Drake, so if you can get some sort of pressure here, it's fine. But Malphite is getting a lot of farm top for free. No reason to walk to the Drake, your team already had it quite easily there, so... And this is just a waste of time, just go for the creeps. Like, the creep should have been like here now, and your team would have had an incentive to shove up and maybe get some vision on Nash. And since there are 2 bot lane here, and Kha'Zix is dead, like, this will sound like... maybe it's quite ambitious, but if you stood mid the entire time and just like stood here with Gangplank and just like danced and kept the wave around somewhere like here, and after your team did Drake and Akali killed Kha'Zix and you see 2 bot side and the wave is like here and you could have shoved it like 10 seconds earlier than this, your entire team could have been here now. Okay, imagine 5 people being here. Akali would have maybe been like here. And there are 2 here and Kha'Zix is dead. That's a free Nash for sure. And you could have like executed this pretty easily if you just stood here, had the knowledge that, okay, Akali's gonna kill Kha'Zix, and we saw 2 of them bot side, there's no way they can make it up in time. You should have just like stood here, and then once they did Drake, you should have just spam pinged Nasher, and you would have gotten a free Baron here. That could have probably won the game actually, because that's the thing with these like lower elos, is that even if you like lose lane like this and you're not like too terribly behind, because I actually really like that when you farmed up instead of joining the fight down here, because as you can see now you actually have like quite a bit of farm, so you're actually in a position where you can win the game, because the enemies will give the game to you if you're willing to take it and make the correct macro decisions, and this was a free Nash for sure, like there's no way around it. So now there's like no way that you can siege this, I think, because the bot lane is here now, and Gangplank can clear the wave. So here you're chasing Twitch into the jungle here. This is like really bad, in my opinion, and it ends up being very bad, as I thought. Like, the problem with analyzing these sorts of situations is that it's very hard for you to control your team in this specific scenario, but before, probably could have if you just had a better incentive, because around here, like, I get it that it's very hard for the team to like make a like good decision, even if someone is pinging, because like let's say someone was pinging this wave, okay, this wave is gonna crash into our tower, someone should go here, someone is pinging, oh, we should shove up bot because this wave is pretty bad, and some of you wanted to push the tower. Like, there's a lot of different alternatives, and it's very hard even if someone is pinging to know what the correct choice is, even without comms, I mean. But in this scenario here, where you stood here and you had just gotten a kill there and there were 2 here, you could have just like pinged that Lulu and Twitch was bot, like 2 pings on them, and then you could have just like spam pinged Nash, and I guarantee you that your team would have went to Nash, and even if they don't, that's like 1 out of like maybe 15 games, so you have to like make the statistically best choice. So that's quite rough. Like, I won't blame you for this play here because it's quite bad, but this opportunity here, you should have actually like spam pinged and took the incentive. That's not on an individual level, though. It's more like of a, or it is on an individual level, but it's not like individual mechanics or stuff like that. It's basically just making the correct macro decision, which I know is quite difficult, and you will get used to it if you just play more games and maybe like watch some pro play. But it's still something that, like, because you had the game there 100%. If you take the Nash and just reset safely, like, there's no way you lose this game, I think. So here clearing bot is fine, but now you're in a really bad position. Now this TP is quite weird, because you could have just probably walked here. I don't think they would have noticed, but now you get a pretty good flank on Fizz, so it's good nonetheless, I think. Your team wasn't really following up on it though, and you don't really do that much damage here, so... yeah, that's quite rough. So your team is gonna chase here. Malphite gets a really good ultimate. Like, you will never win these fights, it's like really pointless to try to 5v5 right now. They have a lot better comp in my opinion, so... it's not really worth trying to force these fights in my opinion. I would have probably just tried to shove out bot and see if someone comes. Because they have Nash as well, so it's like really hard to fight. Maybe they overchase here and die, but like all of this is just like random nonsense. Doesn't really have anything to do with you specifically, because the correct decision for you is to just push bot there and get as much CS as you can. I'm not sure that you can even 1v1 Gangplank right now. I don't think you can. Oh, you're actually far off doing it right now. That's super sad. Because if at this stage, if you didn't like join so many fights and you instead like tried to shove more lanes, you would have probably been in a position where you could at least contest him 1v1. But now it's like super rough for you. I'm not sure how you win this game now. Like whatever happens now, it has nothing to do with what you should have done this game, I think. I mean, you can go for like a sick flank, and if your team follows up, like maybe it can work, but overall, you don't want to be in this position ever, especially as Fizz. So let's see what happens now. Okay, they take some damage there. I don't know what the enemy team is doing. They should just like... Gangplank should definitely just pressure split, and the other ones should siege, but I don't know what they're doing, so... So let's see here. Infernal Drake is up, Kha'Zix is out of position. Good for you to ultimate him there, that was good. You should have done the fast E there, but that's like a minor thing. You tried to chase Lulu, this is a waste of time. Gangplank is getting a lot of pressure here top. You should have not chased Lulu, you should have just committed to Drake. You would have already finished it and be recalling right now. But it seems like he's too afraid to commit for some reason. I'm not sure why. Because now you have backed here, and he won't pressure here. If I was Gangplank, I would just stand here and Q you in the face and stuff, because Shyvana was quite far off, and he probably could have like gotten some damage, but his decision was not that bad, but... So here you should just fast shove this. You should probably push the next wave as well, but that's fine. So now we have one Infernal at least. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at this fight, I guess. Okay, Twitch opens up here. Leona misses her E, she gets the ult. Will Kha'Zix jump in here? Okay, Kha'Zix just entered, that's like super weird. There's no way you can kill them now. Alpha gets a super good ultimate. Yeah, again, like these fights are just like horrible. Like even if you get this now, maybe you can win it. Like to take the fights in itself is just super bad. Because look at this, like if Gangplank was there, you were gonna get aced, and like you guys had no clue if Gangplank was there or not. So like the decisions are just like super random. He should just hit the inhibitor, I don't know what he's doing. He could have easily taken the inhib there, but... Okay, let's watch through the rest here. But overall, man, just like... I feel like you need to work on wave manipulation, that's the first thing. The second thing is you need to like try to play more aggressively. And even if it doesn't work at first, you have to like continue to do it until you learn the limits of your champions and the matchups. Because I saw a lot of opportunities in this lane where you could have killed Gangplank or gotten summoners or gotten a lot of pressure. And that equates to a lot easier, and that equates to an easier game for your team as well. Because if you have pressure topside and the enemy jungler is forced to play top a lot, and if you get some kills on Gangplank, you can probably even 2v1 this Kha'Zix and Gangplank, honestly. That would carry the game for your team. But if you don't do those things, and you go like even versus Gangplank, the game will be really hard. But even then, you could have won if you made the correct macro decisions. And if you don't do that, you have to commit to 100% split pushing and getting huge on CS and not committing to any of these retarded fights. And in that way, you can still have some incentive to dictate one lane in the game. Now that's like maybe a 55% win ratio playstyle, and the other ones are like pretty much like a guaranteed win if you do those correctly. But those three alternatives are the main things you could have done to win this game. But since you joined a lot of dumb fights, and you did not punish Gangplank, and you did not make the correct macro decisions, this game is super hard to win. Because the enemy team is better this game, I would say, but it's not like that far off. Like this was for sure a winnable game. So like now it doesn't really matter what you do, honestly. So they go for Nash here, you TP, this is like a kind of desperate play. They got the Nash, they're chasing you guys down. Like at this point there's not much to do. Yeah, like it's basically just waiting to lose at this point. You're behind so much gold. I mean, maybe Twitch like plays pretty retardedly there. Maybe Gangplank dies here as well, I'm not sure. It's actually gonna kill you all. And Kha'Zix gets him in tower. Like, this game is completely over, it doesn't matter what you guys do at this point, I feel. Maybe you defend this push, but the next one, or the next one after that is for sure gonna end it. So they have 3 nibs on you now. Yeah, like, the game is completely over. And you finish your Titanic very late, so you didn't even actually get the spike of it. Like, the thing with Trinity Force Titanic Fizz is that if you farm correctly and maybe get a few kills, like, you will have both items finished at around like 24 minutes, and with that spike you can like do so much in the game. But if you finish it this late, it's not really that big of a spike, and if you're this behind, it's probably just better to go Trinity into Sunfire and build a lot of tankiness so you can maybe engage for your team. But that's like very team oriented, so that won't win you a high percentage of games, but at least it's something to try out if you're experiencing this a lot. So that's quite a good ultimate on Twitch there, but the game is really over at this point, it's not much you can do. But like, the good things for you about this replay that I just watched is that your mechanics are not bad at all. Like, your mechanics can probably like take you to at least diamond, and your last hitting was also fine actually, like maybe like work on that a little bit, but overall it seemed quite good. And the things that I have a problem with are very easy to fix. It's basically like lane manipulation is the first one, and that you can just like watch content on it and then like try to mimic it yourself. It's nothing execution heavy, it's just like knowledge. And the second one is just like restrict yourself to like when your team is behind and the enemy team have a better team fighting comp, just don't join 5v5 fights if you're behind. Like, it's that simple. Just like commit to the split push, and if your team is like spam pinging you and like, oh please come help us Fizz, just like ignore them, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to win somehow, right? So those are the main things. And if not that, maybe make some Baron calls. Like, there was one very obvious call in my opinion, but overall you can't really expect to be able to make the correct macro decisions to climb. Try to focus on yourself more, so that's like the main thing. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this VOD review. And anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.